How can the same hair transplant look like this, but also like this? Everything's the same, but a different haircut. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the sharp and straight-looking hairlines mainly known from the Turkish hair transplant clinics over the last decade, popularized by influencers, featuring people like Greg Doucet, newly even Jeremy Buendia, and our beloved CBUM, who I will be talking about in this video. Welcome to Let's Get Hair. My name is Matt. I worked as a hair transplant consultant and concierge in the last 8 years, helped more than 2,500 men achieve hair greatness without trial and error, without falling to hair transplant pitfalls. Check out my free hair transplant checklist below, where you can learn more about how to get your hair transplant the right way and find the right hair transplant clinic for you in 5 steps. And look, I'm not here to criticize CBUM. I like him a lot, and I wish it wouldn't be him. In fact, this is me just a few years ago, and I took a similar lesson from my first hair transplant back in 2017. Just look at this photo. Do you see the issue? Well, the first 2 years of living with your new hair transplant, you really love that you have your hair back, so you don't really care so much. But once you get sober from your new hairline, and it will come, you realize, damn, it could look better. So I had it fixed, and maybe CBUM is in this situation right now. It's been exactly 2 years since his hair transplant, and he's kind of on a crossroad. Either he will stick to this haircut for a long time, where it's looking pretty okay, and most people wouldn't be able to tell he got a hair transplant if they didn't know about it, or he wants to be flexible and try different sort of haircuts, but then it's not gonna look the best. So looking at CBUM's transformation, I can see how plenty of guys could actually like the results you can see here, and I'm not gonna argue with that, okay? Because the density is there, the fullness is there, and that's because when you look at his result, your eyes go naturally above his hairline, and that's because at this hair length, his hairline is actually able to ease into the hair on the sides better. The attention goes more to the top volume of the hair instead of to the hairline itself. Now, the problem with this hairline is the most obvious when he's doing these two things. A combination of them. Number one, makes the hair shorter on top. And this brings your focus naturally more to the hairline, how it's kind of shaped, start of the hairline, rather than the volume of hair building up on top. And that's where most people could be like, wait a minute, something's off. Now, what is the second factor that contributes to his hairline looking less ideal? Whenever he decides to cut his hair on the sides as well, or do a high fade. Now, why is this problematic? See how the hairline was easing into the hair on the sides before? This is not happening anymore. We suddenly see an abrupt change in hair angulation on the hair here versus on the sides, and even a mismatch of hair directionality between his hair on sides and his frontal hairline transplant. See, it's still the same guy, same hairline, just a different haircut. And this is how natural hair restoration should be performed in the frontotemporal transition area, and this is how it should not be done. Naturally, you will only find flat angles of the newly transplanted hairs in the temple, which is like 10 degrees and less. And it's not just about the angles, it's also about the direction. The direction of these transplanted hairs on the hairline should be seamlessly blending into the flow of hair on the temple. Almost like one river branch trying to join the other one, kind of seamlessly blending into it. And see the apex point of the frontotemporal recession, this and this in my case. The distance from the apex points left and right to the peak of your eyebrows should never be smaller or shorter than the one from the glabella to the mid-frontal point. And as we see from some angles, CBUM's hairline does seem to be disrupting this distance. And if you're considering a hair transplant, hear me out, because it's going to be very important for you. And it has something to do with the frontalis muscle contraction. And you do this, right? Wrinkling your forehead. This is what you have to do during the hair transplant consultation. And here is why. The thing is, not everyone's frontalis muscle contracts the same way. For example, if you do that, it can happen that the outer parts actually contract more and more aggressively than the mid part, which means it might be even pulling the peaks of your eyebrows way up, way closer to the start of your hairline and to the apex point, like we see with Jack Nicholson right here. And so if you decide to square off your face with this type of straight hairline, because you like it, the influencers are getting them, and you think it's, a symbol of attractiveness and youth. But here's how it actually can disrupt your look, because then your hairline can even appear somewhat curved because it's kind of lowered here and higher up there. So it's almost kind of like a bow, like a slightly curved with a larger distance in the middle and more narrow distances on the left and right side. So guys, if you want to have temples done as a part of your hair transplant, or especially in Turkey, here's what you not do. You do not go to the clinic because of some influencers, because of the ads, or just go to Turkey because, hey, Turkey is the place where we should go and so many people go there. Yes, but it doesn't mean you should go there for your specific case, meaning temples, or you have limited donor. Like, there are some subgroups I have learned as a consultant over almost a decade of doing that. There are types of people and subgroups of patients who should not go to Turkey because the risk is too high and the potential reward is not as high. And number two, you also don't go to a place just because your friend went there. Listen, it happened to me too. I went to my first hair transplant clinic exactly because a friend of mine referred me, and that was a mistake as well, because that made my defenses lower. I didn't research them as much because I trusted my friend, and his hair was already growing, kind of coming back. I didn't even wait 12 months until seeing his full result, and it just turned off my logical brain completely, and I was in that emotional thing. And this is what I don't recommend. Instead, you have to check the before and after galleries of a particular clinic like a hawk. I repeat that, like a hawk. And also watch this video that I'm going to blend below. It's about 3 sneaky tactics how hair transplant clinics kind of do mislead you in their before and after galleries with their results. And these are the things that can equip you to make sure that you will find a clinic that does specialize in this type of restoration. Or if you want to go the safe way, you can do what my client Will did and just consult with me. He did that to save time researching, and he didn't want to take any chances. But hey, if you don't even have time to watch these 2 videos I linked below, which is like 5 minutes of your time invested, it's for free, then you should ask yourself, why are you even getting this hair transplant in the first place and spending all that money on it if you don't even care to make it right? At least that's the philosophy that I have. So let me know your thoughts below. Check out my free hair transplant checklist in the description to make sure that you do your hair transplant safely and correctly, and also find the best clinic for you in 5 steps. And see you in another video. Take care.